All right, so welcome back to this segment. We call it Coffee Shop Q&A here at the Business Life and Coffee Show. We've got a very special guest this week. His name is Aaron Velky, and he is the CEO and founder of Ortus Academy, Inc. And what I love about Aaron is he's known for many things, but the primary thing is he helps people with money. And he helps young people with money, professionals with money. And what better time now than in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic than to take a look at your budget, take a look at your finances, and get some lasting tips to succeed. So Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Good to be here.
Hey, how are you doing? First of all, man, let me get a life check. What's going on?
Pulse is good.
All right.
Oxygen's good. I've been stopping a pause from, this is a time where I feel most called to help.
Yeah.
And so I'm finding myself, after 7 hours being like, oh my God, where am I? What day is it? How many hours have I worked? So aside from that, man, I'm good. Family's good. And I think our whole team is doing well.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great. This virus came out of nowhere, and now life just looks radically different. What's one way that life looks different for you?
Man, I run a really, really exciting morning routine. I get up in the morning at 4:30, hit the gym, come back, and I usually keep from about 6 until maybe 10 with no meetings. And that's my time to create. And now I'm not leaving for meetings. So there's having this creativity sort of overhaul. At the same time, I think I'm really missing the gym. I'm really missing it.
Man, we all are. Going outside just doesn't cut it. I gotta get in there and with the weights and the machines and things. So I feel you, bro. I feel you the same, man. So
it's not the same doing it at home. I like I'm now somewhere different, doing something different.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. So Aaron, I mentioned that you're the CEO of the Ortus Academy. Really quickly, tell us what that means. What do you do with the Ortus Academy?
Well, right now is again sort of like a calling to a much bigger mission. What we have been doing for 5 years is educating people on what we call financial intelligence. And we may talk about a little bit of what that means today, but really when we think about money, we think about emotions and we think about psychology, right? Behaviors and triggers and all those things. And we've been working for the last several years on how we can help individuals, depending on where they are at a lot of different stages, figure out what matters to them, what their values are, what their personality with money is, and really helping them develop a better relationship with money. And now more than ever, that is absolutely essential.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would think, when I think about relationships, I think about partners, and I think about the advice that they give to couples that are looking to get married is like, it's not about so much changing your partner, but it's changing how you relate to your partner. So I would imagine in some way, it's kind of like, all right, money isn't going to change. You have to be a better partner to your money. And so you help people with that.
Big time. And there's a really fun exercise we do. We'll ask people to finish the sentence, money is. And, those answers are really indicative of how you feel about it. And, sometimes we'll get like, money is evil. And then we have to have a conversation about, well, what do you expect you'll do? If you feel like it's evil, what do you think you'll do if you get an opportunity to get some? Or money is power, right? Or,
that's right.
Or money is freedom. It's all of those things, but those are indicators of where people stand.
Yeah, no, that's true. So not everybody starts with the same relationship with money. What are some of the reasons why you think people have different outlooks on finances?
We all grow up in different households that have, parents with different outlooks themselves, and a lot of that gets imprinted. We might have an experience really young that changes our relationship, whether it be, money gets stolen or we earn it in a way that makes us not feel clean, or, maybe we work and feel like, well, I don't even know why I got paid. I'm not sure I did anything. So most of it has to do with imprinting, but I think now in a digital age, we also have a bit of a separation with our money. We no longer need to pass cash. We can just like click, click, click,
Yep.
and it's gone.
Yep.
So we've got a very different dynamic when digital currency has now become commonplace. And what we're experiencing in that new age is that your relationship with money is now magnified because the pain of spending and the pleasure of buying are now very far apart.
Yeah. Well, talking about pain, we're all cooped up in the house for good cause, for good reason. Being good neighbors, being good American citizens, and staying home to flatten the curve. And I think that's got people thinking about what they would be spending their money on, what they're not spending their money on, what they wish they could be spending their money on. Why do you think now would be a good time to evaluate the relationship that a person has with money?
We're cutting the cloth as it is, right? There are going to be some major financial ripples of this that haven't really hit yet. We're still kind of waiting for them to wave through. And there's a lot of different data that's out there, a lot of different points on this. And, I certainly don't want to fearmonger, but it's important that we all get a grasp on our money now because the ripple hasn't hit and the wave hasn't gotten to us, right? Like the earthquake happened, the tsunami is still coming, but it hasn't hit. So everyone on the beach is like, yeah, this is great. This is awesome. And the reason tsunamis are particularly dangerous is the water recedes. Everyone's like, wow, look at all these cool shells and look, wow, it looks great. This is awesome. And then they're like, kapoosh.
Yeah.
So, in many ways, now is a great time to get a handle on things, to develop some new habits because the ripple of this is yet unseen. And, there are so many industries being affected, businesses shutting down, closures happening. And those things, they take a while to kind of percolate through the system. So there's just a lot to be told in this story. And I would love for every listener to really take a hard look at what they're doing with their dollars so that they're prepared, right? It's just about preparation, really.
Yeah. So talking about preparing for the tsunami, it sounds like you're expecting worse things or additional things to happen even beyond this initial wave of having to stay at home. If you were talking to a friend or talking to a client, what are some of the conversations that you'd be having about relationships with money and things to stop doing, things that you need to start doing? What would that conversation look like?
So right now we're having those conversations a lot. They're sometimes with entrepreneurs and business owners. Sometimes they're with, friends and family members. So on the friends and family members, the more personal side, now's a really good time to think of preparation like you would practicality. Now's not a great time to upgrade your car or buy a new denim jacket because it's on sale, right? We keep saying this in all of our social channels. Everything right now is on sale. It's cheaper, right? People are just trying their best. Every company right now is trying to grab cash. So that's a great indicator when things are on sale. And instead of buying, something that you feel would upgrade your lifestyle, hold, right? Be patient. Don't panic. Just hold. So practicality is one. If it doesn't have a use now, it's not really a good time. I think another piece of the conversation that we're having a lot is like, now's a really good time to evaluate what's essential. And there can be a lot of gray area in essential. We tend not to think of wants and needs because there's gray area there, right? But now is a good time to think of, okay, what's actually essential and what's not. Housing, your car, things like that, groceries, like those are very essential. Health insurance, essential. But, right now, maybe going out to dinner or picking up carryout, maybe that isn't, right? Especially if it costs you some significant difference in your food bill. So that's a big one. What's essential, what's not. There's a lot of tactics. We've got some resources that I'll happily share with you so you can share out. But we've got some resources to help people figure out, how do I deal with bills if I can't pay them? Or, what about my credit card statement? We've got some tactics for that. But the assessment, just in conversation is, hey, how do you feel about that? Is that important right now? I almost bought a record player earlier today because it was like on sale. And then I realized that you can't just buy a record player. You got to buy the records and the holder for the records. Like it never ends, right?
Yeah.
not essential.
Yeah.
On the business owner front, though, the conversation is, hey, things are on fire. How can what do I do? Do I pivot? Do I punch through? Do I shut down? What do I do? And so we're having some calls and conversations with business owners from across the country to really help them navigate with like a decision tree. Here's what you can do. And that's really interesting as well, because we've got business owners that, their burn rate is alarming compared to their current cash reserves if doors have been closed. And we're trying to do our best to help. So we've been really spending a lot of our time in those conversations in two ways. We've got a campaign called Team Human, and one, we're giving away online courses to parents. We're holding free webinars for those that have been laid off, employees, employers, all the above, to just help people. And now we're opening up our phone lines to help business owners figure out what their next moves are. Just a little bit of like an hour-long phone call, because everybody's nervous. There's a lot of emotion right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion and a lot of uncertainty. I mean, I think the emotion is fueled by the fact that we don't know when this is going to end, and we don't know the repair that's going to need to be done. And the more that this stretches, the more there's a reality that if cash isn't coming in the way that it was, that's going to cause us to change the way that we either look at our business, or even can we be in business, or do we need to pivot to something else? So I think that's a very, very real conversation that a lot of business owners are having. I wanted to get your thoughts on something too. So as you know, the stimulus bill is getting passed through, and it's looking like each American adult that qualifies will get at as much as $1,200, and each child will get, I think, $500. If you were talking with the client, where do you think the best place to put that money would be? I'm sure that's a loaded question, but I want to ask that question, and I'm going to shut up and just see what your thoughts are on that.
Oh man, pressure is on. We're on the air live, and what a loaded question. Let's think statistically, right? If I'm talking to most people, it's going to go straight to needs and necessities. It should. It probably has to, right? For as much support as we're getting, with mortgage payments being deferred and going into forbearance, not foreclosure, with credit companies saying, hey, we'll help out, with student loans being paused on interest, there's a lot of support right now. But for most people, I can tell you all the stats, because I speak on this all the time. Mm-hmm. The stats say that, most people need to put that to necessities. Mm-hmm. So, my hope is that people are very responsible with this and don't go whisking it away. I think even for someone that has maybe their basic needs met, they might think, well, this is a great opportunity to get something extra, to buy into vanity and get the thing that's now on sale, because everything's on sale.
Get that really international trip.
Get that. Hey, flights are cheap. But from a practical perspective, it's probably best to hold. I would love to just dump it in the market, but realistically, that's not practical right now. Mm-hmm. When we don't know that, right? The challenge with uncertainty is that the moves we make in uncertainty are often questionable as well. But we can create a little bit of certainty by keeping things reserved and being very practical. So putting it in the bank, it's a phenomenal move, because there's certainty that you can use it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So my opinion is that what individuals should really be thinking is, if I'm emotional and things are uncertain, what kind of certainty can I create? And having reserves, there's some certainty there. Might not last forever, but at least you have some space to breathe. And space to breathe right now gives you the wherewithal to make a better choice, right? And that's where it hits. This hits the hardest, is where we're all like, oh my God, panic, choice. And we reflect back and we're like, oh my God, I made all the wrong choices. But certainty can give us the distance to make better ones.
Definitely. I think that's a good response there. If you are wondering what to do with your finances, definitely check out Aaron and Ortus Academy and the things that he's doing Speaking of Ortus, hey man, what's on the horizon for you guys? What are some of the things you're excited about? What are some of the conversations you're having? And what's next in 2020 for Aaron and Ortus Academy?
Dude, I love that question. Mostly because if you'd asked me 3 weeks ago, it'd have been a very different answer.
That's true.
And I imagine
yeah.
most business owners, like everybody's feeling that way, right? Like
Yep.
I have been in my house now for 6 days straight. So maybe this is the wires all getting crossed, but I'm still so excited. Like we have been doing this work for so long, and now we can make a big difference and help a lot of people. And, for a while people have been like, dude, what are you doing? You're like helping people with their money. I don't get it. And now it's like, no. Like this is a great time for us to be able to help and like step in and do that. So we've got a couple things that we're working on. One, we really want to work with small business owners to help them identify where they are and to, invite them to just like an hour-long phone call and say, look, we're here to help. We haven't really fleshed all this out, but we think that we could, take an hour and just help a small business owner figure out what decisions do I need to make, just, get them some reflection on their own business so they can make choices that are best for them. We're also working on this employer wellness model that we think could be really effective. Obviously, right now it might be challenging, but in the long run, what we want to be able to do is work with the owners of a business and support their employees and give the entire staff a little bit of financial education. Because even from here, this is going to be one of those moments for a lot of people. We're really excited to help people navigate through that, where they don't have to look back and say, I never want to experience that again, right? We really want to be support beams for people now. And for those that, money isn't talked about in school and in families. It's not always provided in college. Like no one really talks about it. We just hope that we do it right. And then, when the dart does hit the board, we're like, oh, yeah, you guys see that? I did it.
Did it. Nailed it.
And I got it. You see that? Perfect. Put that one on Instagram. And what is real right now is that the emotions that are happening are just in the now, and we want to provide some education so that people, when they go to buy a house, they know how to do that. When they want to understand, how to invest, they can do that. And if they haven't been taught that, we've got a great foundations level course for them. Like start here, and here's the staircase upwards. Again, right now, maybe that's not what people need because we're in kind of like fight or flight mode, but that's going to be a really big play for us in the future so that what happens when the water clears, when the tsunami wave clears, is we can help people rebuild with a lot of integrity and structure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I definitely wish you the best in that venture. I think it's a much needed conversation that needs to be had, and you're definitely the right crew for the job. So how can people find you? How can people connect with you? How can people work with Ortus Academy and all the things that you have going on?
So our website is www.ortusacademy.com, and that's ORTUS, T as in Tom. Ortus is Latin for revolution and new beginning. Like what a perfect way to think about this, right?
I know,
this is
right?
A chance
this is the season.
Start.
This is the season for Ortus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like let's get people through this to a new beginning. So ortusacademy.com, there's plenty of resources there. We've got a foundations level course for families and individuals that really want to get introduced to the themes of emotional conversations with money and financial intelligence. We've also got some resources there under our Team Human page that are for families, that are for employers. We've got some free webinars and workshops that we're hosting. So there's a lot there. If you need to reach out to us, our contact page is there. And we'd love to be a support for anybody, business owner or individual, trying to figure this out. And if we can be that sounding board, that consult, that coach, that mentor, that guide right now, like we're happy to help. This is really mission oriented for us. And, right now we need some leadership, and we're feeling called to support individuals, to support small business, and just show up when people feel like they're alone.
All right, Aaron. Well, I wish you much success in that, and it's been a pleasure talking with you on Coffee Shop Q&A here at the Business Life and Coffee Show. We'll gotta have you back again. You're one of our few repeat guests, so you're doing something right.
Yes.
So, all right, man. I'll see you on the other side of this tsunami, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Joey. I appreciate you having me, man.